Look guys, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to get you excited for this video. These teams, 20 through 11, are teams that aren't going to be taking one of the fabulous freshmen at Duke. They also aren't going to rise to the top of the standings and compete for the NBA championship. But maybe that's your team, and maybe that's why you're watching. This is Sam from Trash Talk, and today I am ranking the middle 10 teams in the NBA for the 2018-2019 season. The Mavs hit rock bottom last year, seeing their win total decrease by 8 or more in each of the past 3 seasons. But that's okay, because with Dirk taking a back seat and young talent infused into the starting lineup, a bounce back in the standings is practically a guarantee. Dennis Smith will look to build on a rookie season where he started 69 games at point guard, averaging better than 15 points and 5 assists per game. Throw in veteran DeAndre Jordan and the number 3 overall pick Luka Doncic from Slovenia. It's here. It's like Northeast Italy, but nothing like Italy. With the addition of these reinforcements, this organization is ready to succeed without relying on Dirk Nowitzki. The Hornets have been in lottery purgatory for the past 5 seasons. Not enough talent to get deep into the postseason, but too much talent to get those coveted high draft picks. Though, they have had one lottery pick that has worked out pretty well for them. UConn product Kemba Walker is the most underrated point guard in the league. Despite playing in Charlotte with very little talent around him, Walker has proven to be excellent creating his own offense, but his defense has always been suspect, as it will be for the whole Hornets team with the departure of the now one-dimensional Dwight Howard. Returning to the postseason for the first time in 3 years is a possibility in Charlotte, but any kind of deep run is simply out of the question. The Pistons have been hovering around 500 for the past 4 seasons, failing to ever really break through into the top tier of the Eastern Conference. And it won't happen this year either. If you've been living under a rock since 2015, you could wake up and completely recognize this team. The only difference is the addition of Blake Griffin, who came over from the Clippers in a trade this past January, creating the best big man duo west of Oakland with Andre Drummond. But that's all that's changed. This is the same mediocre Detroit team that we've seen for the past 3 seasons, garnering the same mediocre results. Well, that came to a screeching halt. After putting up 49 wins to take the top spot in the Northwest Division, the Trailblazers were swept out of the playoffs by a Pelicans team playing without DeMarcus Cousins. There's no question that the guard play, anchored by Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, is going to be excellent in the Pacific Northwest. But Yusuf Nurkic is somewhat useless on the offensive end, and the cast of forwards is some of the worst in the NBA, and that hurts me to say that about Evan Turner. Portland can make it 6 trips in a row to the NBA playoffs, but even if they do, any hope of a deep run is just a pipe dream this year. The Heat have been spinning the tires in the middle of the Eastern Conference standings now for the past 4 seasons. This was well represented by their half-hearted first-round elimination at the hands of the Sixers this past year. Personally, I don't care to talk about locker room or media drama, but the relationship between coach Erik Spoelstra and defensive monster Hassan Whiteside absolutely has shown negative impact on the court. That being said, Whiteside appears to be playing some of his best basketball in years in the preseason. So long as Goran Dragic and Kelly Olynyk continue to play at such a high level, the floor on this team is pretty high. But with the same look as last year, the expectations for the Heat should be about the same. After losing Gordon Hayward to Boston, it was universally expected that the Jazz would take a big step back last season. However, the rise of Donovan Mitchell gave the Jazz a new look and the same result, which in this case was very much welcome. When you talk about the Jazz, you have to talk about their suffocating defense. And when you talk about their suffocating defense, you have to talk about Rudy Gobert, their star center. If a team can't shoot from long distance, they are going to struggle to score at all when facing this defense. The problem in Utah is after Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, the talent level drops off quickly. Scoring will continue to haunt the Jazz, as Rubio doesn't have the scores he did back in Minnesota. And unless Rubio turns into Steph Curry overnight, the offensive deficiencies will put a ceiling on how successful the Utah Jazz can be this season. Anybody with any basketball sense would know that having Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony on the same team is a horrible idea, as their inefficient shooting makes for countless empty trips down the court. And that's exactly what happened last season. Now, Melo is in Houston, and Westbrook and Paul George can be the focus on offense. The bigger issue in OKC is the supporting cast, which is as questionable as they come. By their talents alone, Westbrook and George will carry the Thunder to the postseason. But if either becomes plagued with a long-term injury, there's no telling how far the Thunder could fall. As of this recording, Jimmy Butler is still with the T-Wolves, for better or for worse. Despite the drama that surrounds the situation, Jimmy Butler is the most well-rounded shooting guard in the NBA. But it's easy to forget that the T-Wolves also have Karl Anthony Towns, who has averaged a double-double in each of his first 3 seasons in the league. The X-factor for this team is Andrew Wiggins, who regressed in nearly every statistical category this past season, but the Canadian still has a very high ceiling. Given the ongoing Butler situation and the parity in the Northwest Division, the T-Wolves are as unpredictable as they come. Anything from a 50-win season to a 30-win season would not shock me in the least. To give you an idea of how excellent the Spurs and Greg Popovich have been, last year was the first time since 1998-1999 that the Spurs won fewer than 50 games. You know why they won fewer than 50 games back then? Because they only played 50 games in that shortened season. The Spurs would go on to win the NBA championship, their first in franchise history, in that 1998-99 season. DeMar DeRozan is one of the most high-profile acquisitions of the summer, creating a powerful 1-2 punch at forward with LaMarcus Aldridge. But to get him, the Spurs had to send Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green to Toronto. On paper, this is a team in serious need of a rebuilding campaign. But Greg Popovich is still the best coach in the NBA, bar none. If anybody can make them into a playoff caliber team, it's great. With LeBron James playing out west for the first time in his career, the Eastern Conference is wide open, more so than it has been in recent memory. The talk of potential Eastern Conference champions begins in the District of Columbia. John Wall returns, and fans in Washington hope that he plays a full schedule after missing 41 games last season. Bradley Beal stepped up his game in Wall's absence, as did Otto Porter. The addition of well past his prime Dwight Howard should help on the boards, an area that the Wizards lacked severely in last season. There's no reason for the Wizards to miss the playoffs this season, given how weak the Southeast Division is. But success beyond that is anybody's guess. 20 down, 10 more to go. Be sure to check in tomorrow to see who the top 10 teams in the NBA are, which, by the process of elimination, you should be able to figure it out now, but check out the video anyway. This is Sam from Trash Talk. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. Oh, but before you go, be sure to hit the like button down below. There's also a share button down there where you can share with your local NBA expert so that he can argue with me and I can't hear it. There's also a subscribe button so you don't miss a future video. And speaking of videos, there should be some on your screen now. Don't miss out.